This comes from Ren Arrow, and she says, well, I'm probably not the only one who's dying to know more about the movie. I've got an enormous list of questions, so please answer as many as possible. Again, please, when will they start making the film? Who's it going to be made by? Disney, New Line Cinema, Warner Brothers, etc. When and where are the auditions taking place? Where will they actually shoot the movie? Will it be in the Finnish or even Swedish forests, where the real story could have been based, or will it all be in a studio? The next question may seem a little bizarre, but here goes nothing. You write in the book that Ren has black eyes. Will the person in that case have to wear coloured contacts, or what? Same about the hair. How long is the estimated time for the years, months that the film will take to shoot? As is quite obvious, I'm one of the millions of girls that want to audition for the part of Ren. I know I'm one person out of a million who is bored and completely and utterly desperate for the part. The odds of getting it is tiny, but someone has to be that one person. I want to be that one. It sounds selfish and obnoxious, I know. There's always a silver lining to the cloud. The Chronicles of Ancient Darkness are among the best books I've ever read so far, and they will always be appreciated by thousands, no, millions of people. I can say that with my heart and soul and willpower that I'm one of those people.
Wow, well, there's quite a lot in that. Thank you very much. Just about the film, first of all. Yes, a big Hollywood studio, Fox, has bought the rights to all 6 books in conjunction with one of my favourite living directors and producers, Ridley Scott, and his production company, Scott Free Productions. They're working on the script for the first movie, Wolf Brother. I can't tell you at the moment when the film is going to go into production, if it is, because they haven't yet made that decision. Quite understandably, it's their decision since it's going to be their money. But I have seen a copy of the script, and I love it. And that's really, really important. They've got a fantastic screenwriter who's really understands the anthropology behind the series. So that is terrific news. That's all I can tell you about the film at the moment. We don't know if they're going to make it as a final decision, and if so, when. Therefore, of course, auditions, a little bit premature. I don't know when they're going to start casting it. I'm sure contact lenses would come into it if it were the case. If they found the perfect Ren and she had blue eyes, that wouldn't be a problem. But I'm afraid that's all I can tell you at the moment.
Thank you very much. The next question comes from Clan Wolf.
Dear Michelle, I love your books. You hear this a lot, but I'm definitely your #1 fan. And I wanted to know, will Wolf go away from Torak for good? Please say no, please say no. What are the clan tattoos for Oak, Viper, Bat, Eagle Owl, and Whale clans? Do we get to find out why Ren's father went to the Ice River? Will we ever find out what Torak's father's name was? Will Torak be accepted by every clan in the last 2 books, or will some clans disagree with Fincadin's choice of making him part of every clan?
Well, now let's just take those one at a time. Will Wolf go away from Torak for good? I'm not telling you. You'll find out in the last book, Ghost Hunter. The clan tattoos, I'm not going to go into those in detail. You'll find out some of them, and some of them will remain mysterious, because I don't think you should know everything about what goes on in the forest. Why did Ren's father go onto the Ice River? Well, I think it's hinted at in Outcast. He was actually seeking his own death, as would you if you'd ended up with a soul eater for a mate. Will we ever find out what Torak's father's name was? I'm afraid we won't. And the reason is clan law, because when a man dies under clan law, you're not allowed to mention his name for 5 summers. And actually, Wolf Brother to Ghost Hunter, the six books in the series, that only covers 3 summers. So there you are. Now you know. And finally, will Torak be accepted by every clan in the last 2 books? Well, you'll have to find out. You'll have to wait and see until Ghost Hunter, I'm afraid. I don't want to spoil the story for too many people.
The next question is again to do with the film, and it's such a common question. It's asked by loads of people. It's asked by Crosslick, Silverlips, Fire Opal, Batwings, Robin the Newbie, Ren's Fan, and Lottie the Lynx. And I'm actually going to read Lottie the Lynx's, but all the other people have asked just about the same question. And Lottie the Lynx says, "Hi Michelle, I know loads of people on here," that's the clan, "who like the idea of the film, but would you want one? And if you did, would you have to make sure that it was all right?"
I would love to see the books as a film if it was done right. I think it probably is going to be done well, because from talking to the people at Fox and Scott Free, I think they really understand the ideas behind the books. Would I have to make sure it was all right? I don't have control over the movie, and that's usually the case with authors, because after all, the studio is going to have to stump up maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to make it. It's not my money, so it's just as well that they have control. And the other big reason that I don't want to get too involved in the movie is that I'm still writing the books, and my focus is on the story and giving you the best Oathbreaker, the best Ghost Hunter that I can possibly come up.
This comes from Eye of the Wolf.
What is the otherness that Wolf talks about in Outcast? Please may I have your autograph?
Well, you can have my autograph if you write to me, care of the publishers, and include your address. The otherness that's talked about, that Wolf picks up in Outcast, is actually him sensing the Soul Eater in Outcast. I don't want to give the story too much away in case anyone hasn't finished Outcast, but Wolf is sensing the presence of a Soul Eater, and that's the otherness.
This question comes from Willow. I know this might sound kind of stupid, but in the new film, would someone with brown hair have to dye it dark red, or would they not mind? Oh, and would a 13-year-old have a chance of playing Ren, or do they want older people?
Well, I'm not quite sure what's in the filmmakers' minds about how old Ren would have to be. I think they'd probably be flexible as to hair colour and eye colour and that sort of thing, because mostly when filmmakers are casting, they're looking for someone who can act and who can really embody the character of someone like Ren, and then they can work things out with contact lenses and hair dye afterwards.
This comes from Chihuahua Girl.
If you have the story in your head completely chapter by chapter, how can you get your ideas into words? I have a lot of trouble with this. I basically write the idea down and try to start on the story, but then more ideas come and my head overflows with them. I don't mean to be rude, but why do the books take so long to come out? I go crazy waiting for them to come. I have a lot more questions, but you might get bored. Congratulations on the success you've had with the books. You have done an excellent job.
Oh, thank you very much for that. Yes, you're not alone in having difficulty when you plan a story, and then how on earth do you get it down on paper? That may be why it takes me a year to write each book, because writing is difficult. I take a couple of months to plan each book, even though I know roughly what's going to happen in it. I then do the research, but then comes the hard part. It takes me about 5 to 6 months to actually write the first draft. A lot of that is spent staring out of the window, trying to see each scene from Torak or Wolf's or Ren's point of view, just like a movie. And then is the hard part. It's trying to write it down. All I can say is you just have to keep trying. Don't worry about getting it right first time, and rewrite. I rewrite these books maybe 30, 40 times before I get them right. So I hope that's not too discouraging. Writing is very hard work.
The next question comes from Amber-Eyed Howler, and it's very simple. Amber-Eyed wants to know, have you ever been to Jersey? You have a big amount of fans, and it's a lovely place.
Sadly, I've never been to Jersey. I'd love to come. At some stage, I'm sure I shall. It depends partly on where the publishers send me, and in fact, that a lot of people overseas, fans overseas, ask me, when am I next coming to Singapore or the States? It depends on finding the time when I'm writing the books, and also where the publishers send me. But I'd love to come to Jersey.
Next question from Patch.
Hi, I am a big fan of your books, and I think that you rock. Where did you get the idea of the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness series? My favourite book in the series is Spirit Walker. What's the best one you think that you have wrote so far? Will someone new turn up in the next books to help Torak and Wolf defeat the Soul Eaters? Also, you know how the clan wear their clan skins across the shoulder. What do Oak, Willow and Kelp clans, etc. wear? Why do they wear clan creature skins?
Wow, quite a few questions there. How did I get the idea for the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness series? I think the best thing to do would be to have a look at my personal website, michellepaver.com. That gives a little bit of an account of how I met a bear in Southern California, and how a lot of the stories go back to when I was a child. I was very keen on the Stone Age, and I wanted a wolf. But that's all I'll say about that, because there's a little bit more on the personal website. What's my favourite one of the books I've written so far? I just can't choose. It's definitely the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness series, but all of the 4 so far, I don't think I could choose a favourite. Will someone new turn up in the next books? There will be new characters. In Oathbreaker, there are some new characters, quite a few. There's one in particular in Ghost Hunter, Book 6, that I'm really looking forward to writing. I've known about him since the beginning, but that's all I'm going to tell you because I don't want to spoil things for you. Yes, how do the Oak, Willow and Kelp clans wear their clan creature bark, actually? Well, mostly it's woven. It's a strip of woven bark. Oak, that's a little bit difficult. So that tends to be twigs or acorns. Willow, of course, you can easily have woven bark. And kelp too, you can weave into a sort of rope or a cord, which they would then wear on their jerkins. So I think that explains all your questions.
The next question comes from Dark Phoenix Child, who writes, Dear Michelle, Hi, I love your books. I just finished the new one and it was great. I love the necklace that came with it. So now I have a signed book, the necklace and the badge, which I used to have on every day till I lost it, which I'm really upset about. Is there anywhere I can get a new one? Can you give me tips on writing? I have dyslexia, so I'm a bit bad at writing, and I'm wanting to do a book about wolves since I've always loved them, since I was really little. Your books have helped me a lot. What do you think of my wolf pic? It's the first ever wolf I've done.
I think it's a fabulous wolf picture. It's really, really beautiful. I don't think I can help you about the necklace, I'm afraid. They only made a limited number, and I know Waterstones have them. I've only got one myself, so I can't send you a spare, I'm afraid. Writing tips. When I'm writing, and this may help you too, I do a lot of thinking before I set the words down on the page, and it might help you if you try to see the scene you're trying to write in your head like a film or something. Imagine yourself one of the characters. Try to see what's happening and think about what's happening and the feelings that are happening in the scene before you start to write it down. That might help you a bit. And then, of course, don't be worried if you don't get it right first time, because you can always change things, especially on computer. You can rewrite, you can add a character, you can cut out the boring bits, and that, I think, should help you. Plus, if you can bear to read a lot of different authors, even if it's a little bit, that will really help you as well.
Dark Phoenix Child has also got one more question. I don't want the series to end on Book 6. Will there be another series after or anything like that? I really hope there will be more than 6. I love them so much. And I know when I have kids, I will be reading them your great books.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Stories have a shape, and I've always known from the very first chapters of Wolf Brother that Torak's story ends at the end of Book 6, at the end of Ghost Hunter. I'm not going to tell you what happens, of course, but it would be wrong, I think, to carry on Torak's story beyond the natural shape of his own story. Having said that, I don't really know what I'm going to do after I finish Ghost Hunter. I don't really like to think of it, because I will be leaving Torak and Ren and Wolf behind. I will probably do another series. I will probably do something in this sort of line, something about adventure, something very exciting. But that's all I know at the moment. Stories are mysterious. They come to you gradually.
Next question is from Lika.
Dear Michelle, it's great that us here on the clan get this unique opportunity. Would you ever consider judging a writing competition in the clan? It would be great if our work was judged by a professional writer, and especially one who writes such an amazing series to which we are all devoted. My last question is, will Torak and Ren and Wolf ever travel further south in the forest? For example, to more forest or open plains or something? Thanks so much for your time.
I'll take the last question first. Will Torak and Wolf ever travel further south? In Ghost Hunter, they will be a bit further south than we've seen them for a while, but I don't think they're going to be getting, in fact I know they're not going to be getting into hot climates and desert and that sort of thing. That would just be stretching it a bit too much. Would I ever consider judging a writing competition? I'd certainly consider it. I think it's a very good idea. Having said that, I'm going to be pretty busy over the next few months because this is my busiest time of the year. I've really got to get stuck into finishing and polishing Oathbreaker, so I'm not sure I'll have time in the next few months, but nice idea.
Next question comes from Wolfpad, who writes, Dear Michelle, I began following the series shortly after the release of Spirit Walker. I'd finished reading Outcast within 4 days of its release. Thank you so much. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it, and it's now my second favourite book in the series. My favourite book so far is Wolf Brother. My questions are: some authors who are lucky enough for their books to be made into a film are offered a small part in the production, even if it's just an extra part. Have you been given this opportunity? If so, which part have you been given? Out of the characters in the Chronicles of Ancient Darkness, which would you say portrayed you the most, and why? Is it possible for a clanless from birth person to become part of a clan after 10 summers? And will we in the next book find out how Torak's mother died and why she made Torak clanless? Thank you for answering my questions. I've never had this opportunity in the past.
Wow, well, what an interesting series of questions. The first one, would I want to be in the movie? Very definitely no. I've always been someone who's much happier behind the camera, behind the scenes, watching, not taking part. So even if they did offer it to me, I'm afraid I'd turn that one down. Out of all the characters, which would I say portrayed me the most and why? That's a very interesting question. There's a bit of me in Torak, because he's a loner, and so am I. There's a bit of me in Ren, because she's very sharp and critical, and so am I. But then, of course, they become their own selves as they developed. So they're not me, but there's a little bit of me in them, and that often happens for writers. Is it possible for a clanless from birth person, such as Torak, to become part of a clan after, say, 10 summers? I'm not going to tell you that. I don't want to reveal too much about where Torak's going to end up. But I can tell you this. Will we, in the next book, find out how Torak's mother died and why she made him clanless? Well, we know from Wolf Brother that she died shortly after giving birth to him, and that would have been as a result of giving birth to him. It was not that easy in the Stone Age to have babies. Why did she make Torak clanless? We probably will find out in Oathbreaker. I say probably because I haven't finished writing it yet, and sometimes certain revelations I suddenly realise don't fit in that particular book and have to go on to the next one. But yes, you'll almost certainly find out why in Oathbreaker.